y'all. My name is Jasmine Jones. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and you are now watching Black Girl Therapists in the Wild. And this is a little show I like to call Therapist Sips and Reviews. And today we are sipping on Stella Rose Black in my fancy unicorn goblet that I got off of Amazon because, you know, I feel like royalty, so why not drink like royalty? And we are reviewing P-Valley episode 4, The Trap. And it was a trap, you guys. I just feel like going back to when people show you who they are, especially if it's your parent and they've been showing you who they were for your whole entire life, at some point you got to realize you can't trust them with little things. You definitely can't trust them with big things. You got to recognize that people are going to stay the same unless they're actively doing things on a consistent basis to grow and change. Actively meaning going to therapy, doing coping skills, you know, apologizing is somewhere in there as well. You know, that's just a part of the package of actively changing. So yeah, I feel bad for Mercedes, but let's get into it. So we start off at the Pank. I was gonna call it P-Valley, but the Pank. Oh, and I want to say congratulations to P-Valley for getting a season 2 after only 3 episodes, because I found out last week, so it was before the 4th episode came out, that they were renewed for season 2 at Starz. So that's awesome. So that means that all this shit that's happening right now doesn't necessarily mean that P-Valley or the Pank will be torn down and turned into a casino because there's a season 2. So something's gonna have to happen. You know, the premise, the foundation of the show is strippers. So I don't know. Let's see how they work this out. Anyways, we start off at the Pank. It is Mississippi. Keyshawn dancing on some guy, and the guy's being an asshole, talking about, why do I have to pay you, and you know, it's just giving money away. Then why the fuck are you there? If it's just giving money away, why the fuck are you there? And you know, Keyshawn, Mississippi, is feeling the type of way about what he's saying, and then Mercedes come over and she's just like reading this nigga for filth, calling him Freckles, and she's like, Freckles, you need to get your shit together and pay her. And so he pulls a wad of cash out his pocket. So apparently you were going to pay somebody in that bitch at some point because you got a wad of ones. I don't know. Maybe he came in there and you know what? That might be his vice. Being manipulative and trash to people. He might get off on that. So maybe that was a part of why he came in there. So he pulls out a wad of ones, throws it on the floor. And Mercedes is like, you need to pick that up and hand it to her. And this dude's like, nah, I gotta pick it up, bitch, fuck you, bitch. And then Diamond comes over and damn near strangles this nigga, and he picks it up and he hands it to her and he moves along. And so Mercedes is like, don't listen to that nigga, he's stupid, fuck him, da da da. And Mississippi's like, well, what if he's right? Through this episode, we are seeing that Mississippi has a low self-esteem and a lack of confidence. And, you know, she basically told Mercedes that, well, maybe he was right about some things. And Mississippi's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Or Mercedes like, what the fuck are you talking about? And Mississippi like, well, I kind of agree with some of the shit he said. Then we go to Haley Autumn Night, and I'm thinking like, oh, she's emptying out her bottle so she doesn't have to drink anymore. And she's trying to turn over a new leaf after she got drunk at the club the other day. And no, she is soaking the money that she withdrew, that she transferred, in alcohol so that the bank, when she puts it in the bank, they'll think it's from the Pank. Yes, she goes to the bank, she deposits it, think it's from the Pank. And then we go to Mercedes. She's in her gym talking to the realtor. She's dreaming of what it would look like with the girls in there, the majorettes dancing and doing all this greatness. And the realtor is like, what are you selling in here? What are you trying to do? And Mercedes is like, well, you know, she explains her dream and how she's going to work on subscriptions. And she already got 20 girls and she's going to charge them $200 a pop to be a part of the majorettes and all this other shit. And the realtor is like, that doesn't seem very stable. You know, you're not selling anything, you're selling an experience. And Mercedes is like, well, if it's one thing I know how to do, I know how to sell an experience. So, the realtor's kind of side-eyeing her, but she's like, well, you need to raise the subscription to at least $250. Charge them as much as you can for the experience. The realtor's like, well, you need to hurry up and give me my deposit. You have to the end of the week. I think it was the end of the week or something like that. Or tomorrow. You have to the next day to give me my deposit and such and whatever. So Mercedes has been calling her mom over and over again because her mom's supposed to give her the $20,000 that she lent her, that she saved up for 7 fucking anyways, we go over to Mercedes' mom. She is pulling the check for the $20,000 out of the bank to give to Mercedes. That's what we thought. No, it's not what I thought. I told you last time. I thought she was gonna fuck her over. But, there's a hope there. These manipulative, narcissistic people, that's what they do. They provide hope and dreams that never come to fruition. So she's pulling money at the bank and she's sitting in her car and she's singing into her phone. She's singing a gospel song, and I guess she's on that trip imagining herself as a preacher again, and some homeless man comes up to the car and throws a quarter in talking about, oh, you can sing, where's your church at, and I want to come see you sing. And so she feels like that's sign number one. And we'll get to why she might feel that that's a sign, but that was for her, that was sign number one, because when he said church, she looked down and was thinking about it, then looked up and he disappeared like he was an angel or some ghost or some stupid shit in her mind. I'm sure that's what she felt in her mind. So then we go back to the club, and Haley and Gidget, that's the white girl, y'all told me her name, I remember her name, you guys, yes. Haley and Gidget are in there practicing, and Gidget is trying to show Haley how to ride the pole. Apparently there is a science to this. It's not about upper body strength. It's about throwing your weight and trusting. And of course, Haley has issues with trust and things like that. So if she can't trust other people, why would she be able to trust her own body? It comes from the inside. If you don't trust yourself, something happened to her child, you lose trust over that, trust in your ability to trust yourself and the things that you can do. So she's just looking kind of awkward when Gidget says it takes throwing your body and trust, So Clifford walks in, and Mercedes and Gidget are planning on going to the Dollar Tree to get some stuff for Mercedes, because it's Mercedes' last dance. I think it's that night, the night that they're practicing for. And Gidget and Mercedes are going to the Dollar Tree, and Keyshawn, Mississippi, whatever the fuck her name is. It's 2 M's. It's 2 M's. Leave me alone. And so they're going to Dollar Tree to prepare for Mercedes' last dance. Clifford comes in and she's like, Mississippi's like, oh, can you watch my baby while we go to Dollar Tree? And Clifford's like, no, bitch. I'm not a babysitter. You better watch your own baby. And so Clifford then calls Haley into the back room to talk about some stuff. So while Clifford and Haley are going into the back room, Keyshawn apparently heard what Clifford and Andre were talking about in the Pleasure Palace, the Cloud Room. And she's telling Gidget about the casino that might be built over the Pank, and that they're all going to lose their jobs maybe. And, so they're feeling the type of way at this point about that, because they have no plans for their future. And Keyshawn also doesn't have confidence in herself to move past this. So skippity skip to Haley in Clifford's office. And Clifford is talking about about the blueprints that Haley got from Andre, and the price points for the land, and how the Kyle brothers land is actually, $500,000, but they're getting $6 million, payoff for getting the mayor to become the mayor or whatever. And the Pank, is looking like it's gonna get built over too. I don't know how much it was, but Haley's like, aren't you gonna get something? And Clifford's like, no, because she has a loan. So Clifford wants Haley to find out more shit from Andre. And Haley's like, no, he's crazy. He was stalking me. He took a picture of me. And Clifford's like, bitch, you ain't that important. He took a picture of everybody at the club. He took a picture of the club. He was scouting out the property. And the amount of people that are there on a weekend night and stuff like that. You know what could happen is that because it is a strip club, what they could do is they could keep Clifford on, and Clifford would just work for the casino and instead of owning the strip club. Apparently, Clifford's strip club has been passed down through decades. It used to be a juke joint. She points to a poster on the wall for a juke joint. That's like a old school club back in like the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, maybe the 60s in the South, maybe the 70s in the South. And so apparently it's been passed down through her family, and then she pulled up and pulled a loan on it. So whatever she needed that money for, it had been paid off, and now it's not. So she is scared, obviously, and she wants more information. And Haley's like, oh, so he wasn't stalking me. I'm not that important, and I shouldn't be so paranoid. So Haley's thinking about talking to Andre. Skip over to Andre. He's in a meeting with the folks that want to build the casino. This white guy on the computer, they're Skyping or whatever the fuck. And then Andre brings up the Pank. I don't think he was supposed to bring up the Pank. I think the mayor didn't want the Pank to be touched. But Andre is like, it's on waterfront property, so why not bring it up? So he brought it up underhanded. I'm assuming. If I'm wrong, let me know. And so he brings up the Pank and the land and the waterfront property, and also the Kyle brothers and how they're one signature away, but Corbin doesn't want to sign anything. So yeah, the mayor is like, you get Corbin to sign, I'll take care of Clifford at the Pank. So the mayor is basically like, don't go to the strip club anymore, nigga. You're getting it, because the mayor apparently knows that he met with Corbin at the strip club. So, I mean, it's a small town. I'm assuming small enough for people to know things and know stuff about people and all this other things. Something I did want to mention was earlier when Haley and Gidget were practicing. No, I did mention that. It's a science to stripping, y'all. It's a science. You throw your weight. It's physics. See, this makes me want to try it even more, like pole dancing and shit. I'm a big bitch, though. I can't stick a pole in an apartment. No, the roof would fall, or the pole would fall. So I'm a big bitch. So I can't do it myself, but I kind of want to go to pole dancing classes now. It seems like it'll be fun and interesting, and you do build up upper body strength. I mean, I've seen the people. They look like they got muscles when they practice it for a while, so I feel like, that'd be fun. What I'm talking about, I think I haven't drinking the Stella Rose. I'm a lightweight, leave me alone. Then we go over to Mercedes. She's at her home. She's been trying to call her mom. She's called her mom 3 times. It's went straight to voicemail. Her mom ain't said shit. That is a sign for me to let me know something's up with this money. She hasn't called me back, but Mercedes has hope because she's tied to the cycle of abuse that her mom put her through, and she believes that this time out of all of the millions of times, her mom will be different. That her mom wouldn't just steal money from her and be trifling and evil, even though she basically prostituted her own child and shit like that. If she's going to prostitute you, then she's going to steal from you. But, anyways, she goes into the house. She's walking around the house, and apparently she has like a whole room in her house set up for her daughter. There's like unicorns and shit everywhere, and she sits on the bed and she's like, and then she calls her daughter. Her phone goes straight to voicemail because apparently her aunt, it's her aunt, right? Her aunt confiscated her phone and put on a voicemail. This is Tarika's phone, and she's on punishment, and so don't call it. So you can hear Tyreek in the background like, Mom! And shit like that. So, teenager shit. And so Mercedes is crushed because she wants to see her child. She wants to see her child and be with her daughter, and that's understandable. Yes. Then we go over to the church. This woman is on this pulpit. I appreciate that she has a dream. I don't appreciate that she puts her dream over anything else that matters to her, including her child. Anyway, she has a dream. She's up at the pulpit singing. So she starts off singing. And then she turns the singing into preaching. She gets the church hyped up. So the church likes her, preaching style, the congregation, the people in the church. The pastor's looking pissed the fuck off. So when she gets the people to the highest climax of their praise and worship, the pastor snatches her up off into the corner in the back room and is like, bitch, you need to stop. This is my church. Women don't preach here, and if you feel like you want to press the issue, you need to find your own church. So this is sign number 2 for her, obviously. I mean, where's 3? Where's the third sign? 3. It's usually 3. 3 is the third sign. But yes. I mean, you could have went in partnership with your, whatever. So that was her sign when he said, you need to find your own church. Then the homeless man asking her where her church is. Those are signs in her mind that she needs to make moves and shit, I guess. Whatever. She's a fucking evil bitch. Yes. Then we go back to the club. Mercedes is... So I guess it wasn't the same night as they worked out. It was the next night. Was her last dance is supposed to be. Anyways, go back to the club. Mercedes is in the little private area with the coach from the last episode. And because it's her last dance, he's giving her this diamond necklace. I'm assuming it's diamond with her name on it. And she's just like, this is cool, whatever. And then Mercedes goes down into the locker room and she's with the girls. And Uncle Clifford walks in and the girls bring up the fact that the casino is going to be built over the club and that they're not going to have a job anymore. And Uncle Clifford's trying to calm everything down and is like, no, it's not true and things like that. And then Mercedes walks in. And she's like, the club's not going to close. Clifford's just a little bit behind. So Mercedes knew about it, and then the girls feel some type of way. So Mississippi and Gidget are upset that Mercedes didn't say anything. So when Clifford walks out, they're like, what the fuck? Why you didn't tell us shit? And Mercedes like, well, you should have been stacking your money. I stacked my money for 7 years and, was preparing for this. And Mississippi's like, well, everybody's not like you and you think you're so high and mighty and all this other shit. No, she just saved her money. She didn't work on her mindset, though. She didn't go to therapy and work on whatever the fuck was going on with her and her mother. And that's why what happened. That's a part of why. No, because mother took advantage of the fact that she is vulnerable emotionally. So it's her mother's fault. But Mercedes should have went to therapy and worked through that shit so so she could have strong boundaries and not, give in to her mom and her bullshit and stuff like that. But maybe she did go to therapy and she felt she was fine until her mom started whining and complaining and doing the gospel again whenever she wanted something. So who knows? So the girls feel some type of way about what Mercedes is saying. Then we go to Andre and Haley. Haley shows up at Andre's hotel. She's apologizing to him. She's like, I'm sorry, I told Uncle Clifford about the casino. I didn't mean to. And Andre's just pissed the fuck off. He's like, I shouldn't have said nothing to you. I shouldn't have been fucking around with no stripper. And then he said some fuck shit about, oh, you need to go home and be with your child and be a good mother and stop worrying about other people's business and all stupid shit. Nigga, you don't know her life. You don't know where the fuck her child is. Why are you putting people's children's name in your mouth? Why? Stop talking about people's children. But, she just freaks the fuck out. And he's like, oh no, woman tears. I must forget all the shit that I was mad about that you did. And I must comfort you because woman tears. And so he holds her and then he takes her up to his room and then she sleeps in the bed and I guess he sits in the chair the rest of the night or whatever and doesn't sleep in the bed with her, and then she wakes up and he's sitting there staring at her like some creepy Twilight nigga. I mean, like, it's cute if you're laying next to each other and you wake up and your nigga's just looking at you a little bit, but not like I'm sitting across the room in a chair just staring at you while you... I mean, some people like it. Some people think it's cute. But anyways, the reason why he was in the bed with her was because he didn't want them to accidentally have sex or whatever. And so she gets up, she looks at him and she tells him that her child is gone. She didn't say her child was dead though. She said her child was gone. Then is it? She didn't say dead. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So, there's a possibility that her child is not dead. Or maybe she thinks her child is dead and the child's not dead. Who knows? We don't have a full story of what happened to her child. So I'm going to not say that her child is dead. Andre feels a type of way. He feels fucked up for what he says. And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry that I said what I said. And she's like, the scar can still open up and bleed. And there's a wound in her from her child being gone and shit like that. And then she's about to walk out, and then Andre grabs her arm for her to stay. And she just looks at his wedding ring and she goes, she's a lucky woman. And then she walks the fuck out and leaves. Next, we see Haley donning various different wigs and transferring money multiple times from this Lakeisha something or other's account into her shit so that she can take the money and put it into her bank account or keep it somewhere and then slowly put it, whatever. So she's doing this a few times. I mean, the way she going, she could pay off, debt. It's $50,000. She just need to do that shit 50,000. I just feel like she's being reckless. I feel like, it's a paper trail because if this bitch finds, I just feel like she's being reckless. I feel like she went from drinking to now I'm going to take a bunch of money. But I don't know the full story. We don't know the full story of what's going on with her past and shit like that, because she even told Andre when they were in the outside the hotel, you don't know my life, you don't know where I came from, when he called her a stripper. You don't know me, you don't know where I came from. So who knows what's going on here? If you guys have any insights into this money transferring situation and paper trails that she could possibly be leaving, I would love to hear it, because I feel like she's being messy. Once is enough. You could take 1,000 of that and invest it in a good stock. Just let it sit there. You could invest that shit in some other, I'm just saying. But as we see her going through her montage of wigs and money transfers, money wires, and things like that, we also scoot over to seeing Mercedes preparing for her last dance, for her night, and things like that, practicing and doing all this stuff and preparing, and still calling her mom, and her mom's not picking up the phone. And at some point, the realtor texts her and is like, you have till midnight to, what are these midnight realtors? Like, the bitch was outside the building waiting for her at midnight. Who is this? Something that's southern? Do you people, is this something that realtors selling property at the butt crack of nighttime and shit? Like, is this, let me know. I don't know realty. Maybe this is normal, or maybe this is like normal in the South, or maybe this is just for the show to add drama. I don't fucking know. I don't care if I'm selling no fucking house. I'm not about to be out there till the sun is up, okay? I'm not about to be out there till the sun is up. So whatever. So Mercedes pulls up to the Pank, and she, calls her mom one more time, gets a text from the realtor. Then she goes in and she starts, getting ready for her evening, for her last dance. And of course, the girls are acting stank to her because, they feel like a type of way because she's leaving. They feel like, she's bougie. Or whatever. That's what they're portraying to her as she's walking in. But when she opens her locker, like Mississippi and Gidget, there's so many names. I fucking hate names. They made like this little going away collage thing and this poster board for her, and she feeling like, teary-eyed and shit like that because they did that shit for her, and they're saying goodbye to her, and then they dress her in her outfit for the night. And the outfit is nice. It's a nice little outfit, it's like they're doing a ritual. They like anointed her skin with butter, with body butter, and they're putting on her outfit for her, and it's like a whole ritual of, it was a beautiful scene. They were like really ritualistically preparing her for her evening. So I thought that was nice. Keyshawn feels some way about the fact that she, that she doesn't have confidence. She doesn't know what she's going to do with the paint clothes and all this other stuff. And Mercedes giving her a pep talk. So this is like a running thing that Keyshawn doesn't have a lot of confidence in herself and things like that, which would go into, how she ended up in an abusive relationship. Because predators, that's like blood in the water for predators. They're like, oh, she's bleeding from her emotions, so I'm going to go and make it worse. Just trash. Just predators are trash. So then we go to outside the club. There's a long line. There's cars everywhere. Mercedes is popular. This is her last night. People are excited to see her dance and do the things that she does that she was prepared to do on her last night. Lil Murda walks up, wants to get in. Diamond is like, no, nigga, you're not getting in. Clifford comes out and is like, yes, nigga, he is getting in. So Lil Murda gets in. Mercedes is walking around the club in her little sparkly outfit, looking confident and all sorts of things. And she walks over to her little neighbor from in I think episode 2 when she was jogging in the neighborhood. It's like her little neighbor, and he fine and shit. he has nice cheekbones. And so, he was supposed to be on house arrest, but apparently he took his ankle bracelet off and put it on his dog or some shit, and he came just to see her for her last night. And while she's talking to him, we go over to Lil Murda. He's talking to the DJ. He wants his song to play from Mercedes' Last Dance, and DJ's like, no, Mercedes didn't like your song last time. You didn't talk to her. I'm not doing that. And so Lil Murda sees Mercedes. He goes over to try to talk to her, and the neighbor dude is like tripping. He's like, who the fuck are you? You don't just walk up on us like that, and da-da-da-da-da, these young bloods, and blah, blah, blah. And Mercedes is just looking at him like, no, he's cool. Like, why are y'all acting like... And so, he doesn't ask Mercedes to play his song. He just says, congratulations and have a great night. And he's walking away, and then, they want to put in another shot and say some more bullshit to him and all this other stuff. So then Mercedes' mom finally picks up the phone, and she tells her that she's going to meet her at the club. And Mercedes like, no, meet me over by the building that I'm going to buy, because she has till midnight to get the lady the money, the down payment. And so the office space, whatever, restaurant, it's not like a whole building. It's just like a strip mall, and you get one of the little spaces in there and shit. And so Mercedes rushes into the locker room. She's going to go over there real quick before she does her last dance. This is what her plan is. This is what she's trying to do. Haley's in there being a hater, talking about, oh, once you're gone, that big locker of yours is going to have to go to somebody else. And Mercedes is like, well, you have to earn this locker. You can't just, Haley and Mercedes just got like some back and forth bullshit with each other. And it's stupid. Like, it really is. Like, Haley is sad and upset because of whatever happened to her when she was in Texas, and Mercedes is feeling some type of way about leaving the Pink, and she got issues with her mom, and then she got issues with not seeing her daughter and all this other stuff. So it culminates in, I'm gonna find a bitch to be mad at and talk shit to because it makes me feel better sometimes. But then when things get really bad, I'm gonna be nice to her and make sure that she gets home safe. It's like communication and working on yourself is important, people. Yes. So we go back to the club. Lil Murda's sitting with his friend, the little crazy one that tried to damn near rape Haley in the second episode or whatever the fuck. And he's mad because of old dude, how he rolled up on Lil Murda. And he's like, oh, he's all hyped up, like, fuck that, I'm gonna go over there. And this Lil Murda's like grabbing him and pulling him down. And he's like, and then he calls Lil Murda a punk. And then, something about, from what I've heard, you've been a punk. I don't know if punk is another word for LGBTQ or bi or whatever the fuck. I don't know if he's bi or gay, but I'm just gonna say bi because, or on the down low, but Lil Murda gets mad and beats his ass in the middle of the club. So I'm thinking the word punk was more than just the word punk. But it could just be the word punk. I work with kids in school and high school and shit, and they don't want to be called a punk. And they get mad and start fights over being called a punk, and it's just the word punk. So maybe it was just the word punk. But I think low key that it might be that his friend has a hint that this nigga likes the penises and shit. Which is, ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, I think his friend low-key knows, and Lil Murda felt some type of way about being possibly called out, and that's why he beat his ass and said, I'm done with you. So here comes This is the climax of the episode. Mercedes goes to this place at midnight to meet this lady, this realtor, and give her down payment. And she gets there, and lady said, oh, someone already paid for it. Someone already put the down payment. Like, I can't, we can't, we're not doing this anymore. And Mercedes like, what the fuck happened? Like, who's out at midnight? Who else is out at midnight trying to buy a fucking building? This bitch is out there. I mean, maybe because they know each other. Maybe that's why she feels like, oh, we can do this at midnight and I feel safe and whatever. I think that's weird, but maybe it's normal. Maybe it's a normal thing. Let me know. Who's a realtor out there? Is this normal? Anyways, she don't know who bought the place. And then her mom walks out of the building and, she's still thinking, oh, well, you're here. You're going to give me my money and da-da-da. And then the realtor's like, oh, this is your mom? And then the realtor's like, and then Mercedes like, yeah. And then the realtor's like, oh, shit. And then she walks away and leaves. And then, she looks at her mom and she goes, so did you put my money down for me? Is that what's happening here? Like, she really, especially when you're abused. Because her mom, it sounds like she emotionally abused her and all sorts of stupid shit, still emotionally abuses her. There's always that inner child inside of you that wants to believe that your mom will be your mom. Take people off of pedestals. People are human beings that are capable of doing all sorts of fuck shit. Her mom was a woman first before she was a mother. And whatever happened to that woman made her unable to process her trauma or whatever. And she lashes out and is hurtful to people and is manipulative to people in order to feel, safe. So that means that she's going to be that way to her child. Our mind is a mind of habits. Once we create a habit, it's hard to break a habit unless we have the motivation and determination and are okay with waiting a long time to actually feel a change before we actually change. So, Mercedes is there with her mom, and her mom is she's fucking trash. I hated this shit. I'm not mad at her for beating her ass either. It's like God sent me a message and said I was supposed to have a church, so I bought this building. Bitch, you is up here stealing from your child, destroying your child. How many dreams of this child have you destroyed? Let me know. How many dreams? This is why I said at the beginning of all this, if people are consistently showing you who they are, especially your parents from fucking birth, and you gotta believe them. You gotta believe. You gotta whole heart, because that's the only thing you can be in control of. You can't change them. You're not gonna change them. She beat her ass, but her mom's gonna turn that ass beating into, oh, well, that was a sacrifice I had to make, and my child is just ungrateful. That's what she's gonna turn that ass beating into in her mind. So the ass beating's probably not gonna do a damn thing. This bitch stole her building. Like, you couldn't have bought no other building. You took your daughter's building and she kept repeating it over and over again, just like it was gonna like make it better. Oh, this is a message from God. This is the message from God. God's not going to send you a blessing through a sin, bitch. Like, the fuck? And let that church start. That money she saved up for 7 years. That's like almost a decade. She's 25 now. That means that she's been at that strip club, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Since she was 17. She's been there since she was 17. That's a minor. I don't know, in some states, consent and all that shit is when you're 17. And in some states, it's 16. Fucking nasties. Like, their frontal lobe's not even developed till you're 21, So the decision-making process of a teenager is going to be as of a child. They're not going to understand exactly what they're going through. They just know they get stuff when they do, when they have the sex or when they strip and they do things. They get the things. That's the only decision making process that they have. If I do this, I get this. But eventually when they realize, oh, I was molested, oh, I was exploited and shit, that's when the emotions start to just kind of fuck you up and make you realize that horrible shit happened to you. But when you're young and shit like that, you don't necessarily realize that it's horrible. You just have a little child brain that says, when I do this, I get toys. So I'm gonna keep keep doing this, get toys. And then people take advantage of that and then say, oh, well, she knew what she was doing. No, she knew that she would get toys if she did the thing like little kids do and shit like that. So, you know, been there. She was 17, exploited by her mom when she was even younger. The fuck? You know, this bitch had a baby as a teenager. You know, this bitch. I hate her mom. I do. That's that personality disorder. That's that this is who I am as a person type shit. And I most likely will never change and never admit that I have problems and never admit that, you know, I did fuck shit. Because at this point, if I admit it, then I would have to face the darkness inside of me. And I don't know how to fucking do that without hurting other people or hurting myself. So, you know, she beat her mom ass. And then we go back to the club. Clifford's having a fucking breakdown. Everybody's booing because it's Mercedes' last dance and Mercedes not there. Mercedes didn't show up to the club. So Clifford's trying to figure out who can go out there, who has the talent that's basically damn near like Mercedes. And Keyshawn, M-I-S-S-I, crickets, P, humpback. Keyshawn volunteers to go out and, you know, dance in Mercedes' stead. So she goes out and the bitch is magnificent and glorious. She's doing all the acrobatics. She's just feeling herself. She got the glitter. She got the Fenty, diamond bomb on her skin, glowing in the blue light. Blue light on black skin, especially dark black skin, is amazing. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's wonderful. It's magnificent. She was so good. Good job, Mercedes. Good job. You know, and then they are playing Lil Murda's song for, not Mercedes, Mississippi. Damn it. Good job, Mississippi. Good job. Yes. And they're playing Lil Murda's song for Mississippi, and it's a good song. You know, it's a good song. And Lil Murda's outside the club just extra happy. They play my song. Bop, 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 bop. And then Uncle Clifford comes out and Lil Murda's like, this song was for you. And then they go back into Uncle Clifford's office. I didn't see Uncle Clifford lock the door, so I think the door was unlocked. And you know that accountant dude just be walking in and out, and the girls be walking in and out, but whatever. I just don't like surprises if I'm having sex. Like, you don't walk in on me. Don't, ooh. They go in there and they fuck, and, you know, they look like they're having a good time and whatever. And then they are clipping between them fucking and Mercedes doing her Mississippi doing her magnificence on the pole. You know, it's a science to it. She's throwing her body around. This is acrobatics. This is a sport. She didn't even take her clothes off. She was just like flipping and whirling and doing all sorts of shit. You know, flexibility is an amazing thing. You know, she did the splits on the pole in the air, and then she like slid down the pole while doing the splits. I thought she was gonna fuck up because you know how they like to add drama and shit to shit, but no, they let her do her thing, and she did a very good job. Mercedes and her mom are being taken away by the police. Mercedes is looking out the window at her mom, just her hair fucked up. All the anointing they did on her was damaged. She just looked hurt. She just looked hurt and disappointed. You know, I hope this is the big thing that she needs to realize that her mom ain't shit. You know, but yeah, you want to love. You want that love. You want that parental love. But if your parent ain't shit, you ain't gonna fix whatever broke them. They've been that way since before you were born. Most likely they treat other people that way. And it's not just you. So that means that, you know, that doubly means that this is nothing that you've done. You have experienced the consequences of their issues and shit like that. But she looks so hurt. And her mama just looking at her mean and shit. Fuck that bitch. Fuck that bitch. Oh, gosh. I'm so upset that bitch did that shit. Who does that? Y'all, who does that? Evil people. Fucking evil. You to your child. You don't care about your child. You know. You don't care. I mean, maybe you wouldn't want your child to die, I guess. But even if she died, she probably finds some way to make that shit about her because there's something wrong with her. You know, just fucking evil people. That's the show, y'all. I'm still mad at her mama. She ain't shit. That child worked for 7 years to save up $20,000 to buy her gym for them little girls to dance in. We'll see where this goes. She's probably going to just end up working at the Pank for however long, because now she doesn't have shit else to do. Maybe she'll go to college, maybe that'll be the next route, go to college and find a different career or something. But she was gonna be an entrepreneur. She was doing shit. Fuck this bitch. I hope her mother's church fails. Hope that shit burns to the ground. Hope nobody comes. I hope she gets sad and fucks shit up, and all the things that negative, evil people deserve. So I hope you enjoyed this review. I will see you tomorrow evening for I May Destroy You. Ignore this. I just realized it's been in the thing the whole time. That's the light. I don't know. It's just going to be there. I'm not editing shit out. I mean, if I can, I'll try. But yeah, most likely I won't, because it'll just make the clip smaller and it'll look weird and shit. And I'm not that good at editing like that to make it look regular. So, yes. But I'll try my best. I'll try my best to edit that whole thing out. But yes. Later days.